Okay, let's unpack this. What if uh, an ancient epic wasn't just a captivating story, but more like a living map, something etched into the actual landscape of nations?
Yeah.
What if every twist, every turn of a legendary journey could still be traced, centuries later through actual temples, rivers, archaeological sites?
It's a really profound idea, isn't it? Because that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Right.
We're embarking on this deep dive into the Ramayan Circuit, and it's not just like a travel plan.
Yeah.
It's this incredible journey through history, spirituality, culture, meticulously retracing the sacred footsteps of Lord Ram. His story, the Ramayana by Maharishi Valmiki, it still inspires millions globally.
And what we really want to explore today for you is how that ancient narrative becomes so vivid, so real, how it's interwoven with these tangible sites and living traditions. It's an amazing blend, past and present.
Exactly. And we'll look at it through, let's say, two lenses.
Okay.
That of a historian, looking for archaeological clues about India's past, and also that of a believer, someone seeking spiritual renewal, maybe personal reflection, moral reinforcement.
And this Ramayan Circuit itself, it's actually an official initiative.
That's right, yeah. It's under India's Ministry of Tourism, part of their Swadesh Darshan scheme. They've identified over 15 key spots across several Indian states and even into Nepal and Sri Lanka.
So when we talk about the Ramayana, we're not just talking about a purely spiritual text. This epic, composed way back, maybe around the 5th century BCE, it gives historians this really rich tapestry of ancient Indian life. Society, culture, ethics, even how they governed, relationships, warfare. It's like a window.
And what's really compelling, I think, is how archaeology keeps backing this up, in a way. Excavations at sites linked to the Ramayana are constantly revealing, well, astounding things.
Like what kind of things?
Sophisticated civilizations, complex water systems, hydraulic engineering, elaborate temples. It all reinforces the legacy of this narrative. It's where, myth kind of meets verifiable history. It provides this tangible link.
Okay, so with that historical backdrop, how does this ancient story translate onto the ground, into the landscapes we can actually explore today? Where do we start this journey?
Well, naturally, we have to begin at the foundation, Ayodhya, Lord Ram's birthplace.
Right.
It's on the Sarayu River in Uttar Pradesh. Historically, it was known as Saket, the capital of the Suryavancha, the solar dynasty, King Dasharatha's kingdom. And the name itself, Ayodhya, means unconquerable, which feels, well, pretty symbolic.
Deeply symbolic.
It's revered as Ram's birthplace. He's the 7th incarnation of Vishnu, symbolizing Dharma, truth, compassion. It's even mentioned in the Atharva Veda, and it's one of the Saptapuri, the 7 holiest Hindu cities, believed to grant spiritual liberation.
So it's really the spiritual heart then. What are some key sites there that really capture that feeling for a visitor?
Absolutely. Well, first, there's Ramjan Mobumi. That's the spiritual core, where the huge, majestic Ram temple is being built right now. Then you have Hanuman Garhi. It's a 10th century fortress. You climb 76 steps to get there. It's dedicated to Lord Hanuman, who's believed to have guarded Ayodhya from that spot. A real symbol of loyalty, strength.
And what about Kanak Pawan, the Golden Palace? That sounds fascinating.
It is. Kanak Pawan represents marital bliss. It was supposedly gifted by Queen Kaikeyi to goddess Sita. And we shouldn't forget the Nageshwarnath temple, built by Ram's son, Kush, but dedicated to Lord Shiva. This shows a really beautiful harmony, between Vaishnavism, Ram, and Shaivism, Shiva, how these traditions coexist.
Yeah, that coexistence is important. And you mentioned something really surprising about Ayodhya earlier, a global connection in ancient times. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's quite something. There's the Queen Ha Memorial Park in Ayodhya. It highlights this really intriguing link to Korean history.
Korean history.
Yes, through Queen Ha Hwangok. She was apparently Princess Suri Ratna of Ayodhya, and she married King Kim Suro of Korea way back in 48 A.D.
Wow, 48 A.D.
Right. It's not just a historical footnote. It kind of reframes how we think about ancient connections, cultural exchange across vast distances, even millennia ago.
That's incredible, these ancient threads connecting continents. And of course, Ayodhya today is also known for its vibrant celebrations.
Oh, absolutely. Festivals like Ram Navami celebrating Ram's birth, and especially Diwali. Ayodhya's Diwali is famous as Deepotsav. The riverbanks just light up spectacularly. Thousands and thousands of lamps, diyas, symbolizing light over darkness, good over evil. It's truly a sight.
So after laying that spiritual foundation in Ayodhya, where does Ram's journey take him as he leaves his kingdom, goes into exile?
Well, that narrative takes us along the Ganga River to Srinagar,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes called the gateway across Ganga.
Right.
This ancient town, it's near Prayagraj today. It holds this really significant piece of the story. It's where Lord Ram, Sita, and Lakshman first crossed the sacred Ganga. And they were guided by this humble boatman, Kevat.
Ah, the Kevat story. It's so powerful, isn't it? His insistence on washing Ram's feet before he'd ferry them across. It's such a beautiful moment. Symbolizes humility, devotion, spiritual equality. There's even a kind of affectionate playfulness there between the devotee and the divine. It makes them feel very human.
It does. But what's really extraordinary here, beyond the mythology, is the ancient engineering found at Srinagar.
Engineering!
Yes, archaeological digs have uncovered these sophisticated water management systems from the Kushan Age. We're talking about a huge complex. 4 massive water tanks, like 250 meters long, 38 meters wide,
Wow!
built with millions of bricks, fed by this carefully engineered canal system linked to the Ganga.
That's incredible. So it wasn't just a legendary crossing spot. It was a site of serious ancient engineering. It really highlights advanced urban planning, resource management back then. This mix of devotion and, well, practical engineering. It really brings the Ramayana to life historically.
Exactly. And the impact of Kevat's story, it's still felt. Kevat is still a key site for pilgrims. And they have this unique annual celebration, Kevat Jayanti. It includes Ramayana plays, enactments, and even ritual foot-washing ceremonies. It still resonates very deeply today, carrying those virtues of humility and devotion forward.
So from crossing the Ganga, we move deeper into the exile period, to Chitrakoot, the Sanctuary of Serenity. This place spans 2 states, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, and it's revered as the main sanctuary during that 14-year exile.
And not just a quick stop. Ram, Sita, and Lakshman spent nearly 11 years there.
11 years?
Yeah, longer than any other single location during the exile. So it really embodies simplicity, devotion, humility, and this profound connection with nature. It's a place for deep, deep reflection.
And it was also the site of a really defining emotional moment, the Bharat Milap,
Aye.
where Bharat came to try and persuade Ram to return to Ayodhya. Such a powerful scene about family, love, duty, dharma. It's all right there.
It is, and it makes you think, how do these places continue to influence practices today? Well, sites like Kamajiri Hill, it's revered almost as an embodiment of Lord Ram himself. They call it the hill that fulfills desires.
Mm-hmm.
And doing a barefoot walk around it, the parikrama, is believed to bring spiritual merit, inner peace.
And Ramghat on the Mandakini River, that was his daily prayer spot.
Supposedly, yes. And ritual bathing there is still believed to purify. Then there are the Gupta Godavari caves, this mystical cave system, natural streams hidden inside, symbolizing divine protection, purity. It's a real journey into both faith and the natural world.
Okay, our journey now takes us south, really far south, to what sounds like a strategic and spiritual climax. Ramaswaram and Dhanushkodi, at the very southeastern tip of Tamil Nadu. You called it the Bridge to Salvation.
That's right. A powerful name for a powerful place.
And this is where Lord Ram built the legendary Ram Setu Adnat Bridge to cross over to Lanka. It feels like a point where, I don't know, the practical needs of war met profound spiritual devotion.
Absolutely. And what's truly remarkable here is this unifying aspect, deity-wise. Before launching the assault on Lanka, Ram builds a lingam, a symbolic representation out of sand, and prays to Lord Shiva.
So Ram, an avatar of Vishnu, praying to Shiva.
Exactly. It exemplifies this rare, powerful convergence of Vaishnavism, Rama, and Shaivism, Shiva. A profound statement about spiritual harmony. The main temple here, the Ramanatha Temple, it's one of the 12 Jyotirlingas, these incredibly sacred Shiva shrines, and it actually houses 2 lingams.
2, okay. So the bridge itself, the Ram Setu, built with help from the Vanara engineers, Nala and Nila, and of course Hanuman. It's not just a literal bridge, is it? It feels like a metaphor.
Precisely. It's often seen as a spiritual metaphor. Humanity's bridge may be from ignorance to enlightenment. It demonstrates how faith, combined with collective effort, can overcome seemingly impossible challenges.
And the key sites there must really bring that story home.
They absolutely do. The Ramanatha Temple, as I mentioned, one of the 12 Jyotirlingas. It is the Ramalingam, built by Ram, and the Viswaning, brought by Hanuman from the Himalayas. And architecturally, it's stunning. It has the longest corridor of any Hindu temple in India. Over 1,200 intricately carved pillars.
Wow, 1,200 pillars.
And pilgrims perform ritual bathing in 22 sacred wells, the Tirthams, inside the temple complex. It's a whole experience.
And Dhanushkodi, the tip of the bow.
That's believed to be the exact spot where the Ram Setu started. Lord Ram marked it with his bow, Dhanush. And later, after the war, he apparently broke the bridge there. Today, sadly, it lies mostly in ruins from a huge cyclone back in 1964.
Oh, right.
But it still has this eerie, sacred feeling. And yes, on a clear day, you can actually see the coastline of Sri Lanka from there. And there's also Gandhamadana Parvatham, a small hill believed to be where Hanuman took his great leap to Lanka. There's supposedly a footprint of Lord Rama there, too. So here, in Ramaswaram, devotion becomes action. Faith literally becomes architecture. It's the real climax of Ram's physical journey service, surrender, divine alignment. You see the tangible results of that profound belief.
So from that monumental bridge-building effort, we cross over into Sri Lanka, the final frontier, as you put it. This is where the whole epic really culminates.
Indeed, this is where good triumphs over evil, where dharma, righteous conduct, confronts adharma, unrighteousness. It's where the heroic tale ends in moral victory and, importantly, spiritual transformation for those involved.
And the key sites in Sri Lanka sound incredible, too. Ashok Vatika in Nuwara Eliya. That's the garden where Sita was held captive.
That's the place, yes. And now it's home to the Sita Menon temple. You mentioned devotees leaving symbolic gifts. They still do that, honoring Sita's strength and endurance.
And then there's Divarumpula. That means place of oath.
Exactly. This is where Sita is said to have undergone the Agi Pariksha, the ordeal by fire, to prove her purity after her captivity. It's a very revered spot, associated with moral clarity, purification. And there are even places linked to Ravana himself. The Ravana Falls, Ravana Cave, scenic spots, but tied to legends of him hiding Sita. They also represent, in a way, the tragic grandeur of Ravana, this powerful, learned king, undone by his own pride.
Are there other significant sacred spots on the island? And how does this whole Sri Lanka section resonate emotionally for pilgrims?
Yes, definitely. There's the Manavari Temple, believed to be where Ram consecrated the first Shiva lingam in Lanka after the battle.
Yeah.
And Muniswaram Temple, where he supposedly prayed to cleanse the sin of killing Ravana, who was, after all, a Brahmin.
Ah, right. The complexity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So emotionally, the Sri Lanka leg is intense. It's a place of justice, yes, but also penance, spiritual awakening. Pilgrims often go there seeking resolution for their own inner conflicts, maybe seeking peace, mirroring Ram's journey of overcoming immense adversity.
Okay, so we've traced this vast journey across different countries, different terrains. Now, let's loop back to India, but to a very different region, Jagdalpur and Chhattisgarh. This brings us to tribal heritage and Ramayana, which sounds like a really unique angle.
It really is. Jagdalpur is in the Bastar district, part of the ancient Dandakaranya forest. This is the dense forest region where Ram, Sita, and Lakshman wandered for several years during the exile.
Right.
But what's truly fascinating here is how the local tribal communities, the Gons, Marias, Mirias, they have their own versions of the Ramayana, passed down through oral traditions, epics, folk dance dramas, their own unique Ram Leelas.
So in these tribal traditions, the story or the characters might be different. How do they reinterpret these familiar figures? What does that tell us about their worldview?
Well, the characters often feel more nuanced. Ram might be seen more as a forest-dwelling protector figure. Sita often symbolizes the purity of nature itself. And quite surprisingly, the Rakshasas, the demons, they aren't always depicted as purely evil. It reflects, perhaps, a worldview more attuned to nature, balance, maybe less focused on strict dualistic morality. It's a deep respect for all aspects of the forest world.
Interesting.
And another notable thing, women characters often have very strong self-asserting roles. They hold significant agency in these narratives.
That really is a departure from some of the more mainstream interpretations. And you mentioned Bastar Festival also being unique.
Very unique. It's this incredibly long 75-day celebration. But its primary focus is on the goddess Danteshwari, who the local tribal people associate with Sita's divine essence.
So not primarily focused on Ram's victory over Ravana.
Not solely, no, though Ramayana elements are definitely woven throughout the festivities. But the main reverence is directed towards this local, arguably matriarchal deity figure. It shifts the focus significantly.
So Jagdalpur really shows how a myth, an epic, adapts, how it lives differently depending on the region, the culture. It's not just in ancient texts or grand temples, but in the soul of the land and its people. Offering this different, earthier version of the Ramayana, it highlights the incredible adaptability, the resonance of these stories.
And that brings us kind of full circle, doesn't it? You've just taken this deep dive with us into the Ramayan Circuit. It's this sprawling, multi-layer journey. It crosses the geography of India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, but also delves into the depths of history, mythology, and really human values.
Yeah. For a historian, it's clearly a treasure trove. validating ancient societies, engineering skills we maybe didn't expect. For a believer, it's a path for spiritual renewal, finding moral guidance. The whole circuit highlights these timeless virtues, doesn't it? Dharma, loyalty, humility, purity, courage, forgiveness, redemption, too.
Absolutely. So maybe a final thought for you listening. As you consider this vast journey, the enduring power of this narrative, what ancient story, maybe one woven into the land or the people around you, might be quietly guiding your own understanding of these timeless virtues? What echoes of history, of faith, are maybe waiting to be discovered in your own world